you might see my breath because it is a cold winter's night here in Reno, Nevada. So this is going to be kind of a short video because it's cold and I want to film this stuff and get inside to where I can edit. Just a quick little disclaimer, any of the companies that I talk about in this video, they aren't sponsoring this. This is all me that I'm putting into this. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel here at Cheap Man's Garage. Today what I want to talk about is bolts. You may not think they're crucial to a race car, but today we're going to kind of dive into one of the very small things that it takes to make a show car look good. So today I have two examples of bolts. So our first example here is what looks like a password JDM bolt with a washer. I bought it off of Wish for very cheap. And when I got it, I found out why it was so cheap. It was packaged very poorly, and it just doesn't feel like the tolerances between the washer and the actual bolt don't feel good. So I went ahead and ordered some bolts, some beauty bolts from Downstar. When I got these, I immediately realized why it's a little bit more. That's kind of a fine line we're gonna ride on here on Cheap Man's Garage, is the fine line between cheap and quality. Sometimes you're gonna wanna spend an extra couple bucks to get quality parts. So first bolt I really kind of want to go over in detail is the password JDM one. It's just a standard little bolt. Nothing special about that. This is kind of where you get the nice look from, is the washer. The only issue is that hole is a good amount size bigger than that thread, so it's a little loose and it doesn't feel that good. And then we step over to the Downstar bolt. Standard kind of bolt, hex head. But the nice thing about this, let's see if I can do this with one hand, is that when you fit it in there, it fits. The tolerances are all good, and it also comes with this little rubber washer. At the time, I didn't know what that little rubber washer was for, so I messaged Frank Downstar, the owner of Downstar, and I asked him, what are these little rubber O-rings that I'm getting with my bolts? And instantly he replied that they're for the fenders to protect the paint. And it blew my mind that someone would think to put in a little rubber gasket to save the paint on your fenders. So now what I want to do is I'm going to install 3 bolts on a fender, and I'm going to install the factory bolts, I'm going to install the password JDM, and then the Downstar. And we'll kind of get a comparison of how they all look. So here's the factory bolts. You know, nothing special. They blend right in. They don't look like anything fancy. So up next we have the password JDM bolts. And they look good. And I know before I complained about the fitment between the actual bolt and the washer, but they fit pretty decent on them. And there we have the Downstar bolts. They all went in nice and smooth. They all have those little rubber washers. And if you don't like the look of the rubber washers, you could just not use them. Quick little side note, you don't have to buy the Downstar hardware all at once. You can buy them individually. In my case, I bought 6 bolts. 3 for one fender, 3 for the other. And you could buy 1 bolt at a time if you really wanted. That's the great thing about Downstar, is you can buy them individually. You don't have to buy a big order of them. And that'll kind of help with the budget factor of this, where say you don't have the money to do an entire engine dress-up hardware kit, you can do just your valve cover, just your fenders, and then maybe in a couple weeks when you get paid again, you do the valve cover or you do whatever else. So there you guys have it. You have the factory OEM bolts, which just looks standard. There's nothing special about them. Then we have the password JDM bolts, which they're a step up and they look good. I'm not gonna knock them for anything like that. They look good. The build quality on them is a little off, but if you like them, go for them. And then we have the Downstar bolts, which are a little bit more expensive, but the quality is there. The quality and the customer service is there. If you have any problems with any of the Downstar hardware, your order, they reply to you within, don't quote me on this, but in my case, he replied to me within minutes when I asked him about the little rubber washers. So thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next week when I do something else that doesn't cost a whole lot of money, but will eventually get this turd up and going and looking good. All right, thanks. Have a nice weekend. Bye.